Ladies and gents, I had a conversation today with a 9-figure entrepreneur, and this is what I learned. I took notes. He taught me 7 things. I'm going to go over each of these 7 things for you because some of this is pretty groundbreaking, at least for me. And again, I'm going from 7 figures to 8 figures. I don't know where you guys are starting at. And in all honesty, I don't care. I want this to be for everybody. Whether you're going from 5 to 6 or 6 to 7 or 7 to 8 or 8 to 9, doesn't really matter. I know that for me, one of the best ways for me to learn is to go straight to the source of people who have what I want. They've accomplished the things that I am chasing, the things that I am desiring to accomplish as well. And so I talked to a 9-figure entrepreneur today, and we talked about a number of things. And what was actually really cool is that he asked me some questions about content and social media, and I was able to give him some insight and some advice onto building personal brands, which is one of the points that we talked about. And so it was cool for me to be able to talk to somebody who has done all of this stuff in business in his mid-50s, and he's asking me questions about asking me advice, and I have the opportunity to deliver value for him. Again, if you believe in the concept of reciprocity, you know that the value that you put out there into the world, into the universe, into the ether will be reciprocated back to you 100 million times fold. Whatever you believe, whatever faith you have in that happening, it will happen. Right? Yesterday I talked about faith and just a belief in where you're going and in the eventual outcome that you're going to have, and how crucial that is to creating the life that you want to live. You have to have ultimate knowledge that this is going to happen. And that is the most difficult thing that any person can ever do is believe that something is going to happen without actually seeing it happen. Right? We're visual types of people. We want to see something to believe it. Nah. The secret to success, my friends, is to know that it's going to happen. Believe it before you see it, and then you will see it. That's such a hard one. If there's any easy button that I could emphasize that you study, that you learn, go read all of the books, all of the ancient books that have been talking about faith for millennia. Study them and learn that concept of faith. It will change your life. It's insane. Okay, so let's go through this. All right, so the big thing. Okay, let me go through my notes here. All right. Oh, it's 6 things. I only have 6 things. All right. First thing, masterminds. Have any of you guys read Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich? I've read that book so many times I've lost count. So amazing. It's so valuable. If you haven't read it, I recommend you go and buy it immediately, download it, listen to it, whatever, over and over and over. Napoleon Hill talks about faith. He talks about all these concepts I've been talking about. This is one of the first books that I read in the personal development space, and it definitely shaped me for what I've been able to do. It's shaped my mind. One of the core concepts that Napoleon Hill talks about in his book, Think and Grow Rich, is mastermind, the mastermind effect. When you can get multiple minds together for a common purpose or to solve a problem, it works faster and the outcome is better than if you just go at it alone. Sometimes all we need to do as visionary types of people is to just feed off of what someone else's head start. And then typically what happens is we add our own genius, we add our own personality, we add our own experiences and our own wisdom to what they have done. And now we make it twice or a multiple better because we get to add in our own experiences. So mastermind effect is incredible. And this is one of the things that he was telling me. He's been a part of masterminds. He's like, he told me I've spent over $1 million being a part of mastermind so I can just go and learn from other people who are doers, other people who are doing things. And that's how he's been able to build his business, or part of the way that he's been able to build his business. Now, I have been fortunate enough to not have to join masterminds because of the nature of my business, being in the YouTube space and being really good at what I do and helping really important people like Mark Cuban companies and some of these other guys that I've mentioned in before in the past. I have been invited to masterminds for free. And so I get the benefit of going to some of these masterminds without ever having to pay. And I don't take that for granted. It is a very, very lucky, I'm very blessed because of that. But I also have faith that I also have faith that I am capable of giving value at that level. And so I'm invited because of my faith, because of the knowledge of the things that I'm capable of, if that makes sense. So mastermind. So couple concepts that I have here. Masterminds fast track learning. You build connections and collaboration. And it's also one of the best ways to learn. One of the best ways to learn is just by surrounding yourself with people who have already done what you're wanting to do. All right, the next thing that we talked about, focus versus diversification. So, and this is one of the things that he was actually asking me about because he's an ADD entrepreneur as well. And he's like, my tendency is to build a business over here, then see an opportunity over here, and then start building a business over here. And what's cool is he was fortunate enough to make millions and millions of dollars in the businesses that he built early on. And so he has the capital to invest in building businesses over here where he can hire people to fill the roles. But it doesn't always work out for him because he doesn't have the capacity, the mental capacity to oversee the success of these businesses. He has the knowledge of how to hire people to fill the roles that he needs to fill roles. That's something we're going to talk about here in a minute. He has that knowledge of how to hire people who are smart and intelligent, but he doesn't have the time to oversee everything, which gets him into problematic areas on occasion. Again, you never stop failing, guys. Remember what I talked about in my Elon Musk video? And by the way, you guys, I appreciate you for being here and appreciate you for bearing with my stumbling and bumbling. A lot of the times when I have a long day, it tends to take a toll on my ability to flow. And I always try to record these at the end of the day, so I've got a lot of content. I appreciate you bearing with me on those things. And I see my audience retention and where it drops. And I try to make up for that, by moving faster and outlining things before I talk. So that way, when I speak, I have a flow. But thank you. Thank you for that. I know that a lot of you guys are listening to these. And so I hope that I know I'm going to get better and better and better. But I hope that I'm giving enough value for you guys that it keeps you coming back and binge listening and binge watching. It's awesome. It really is. I'm grateful for you. So focus versus diversification. So his whole thing is I build businesses all over the place because I have the capital, but I don't necessarily have the knowledge. So I hire for the knowledge. And what I told him that I do is I have a core area of expertise that I focus on. And then I think about all of the companies that can support my my area of expertise. And so I have conferences where I can pull clients into my agency. I have a coaching program that if they can't afford my agency, they can jump into the coaching program. I have, we've worked on softwares. We've worked on consulting. We've done, what else do I have? I've got a number of things that are going on, but everything again is intended. Faceless YouTube channels. Everything again is intended to, number one, not deviate from my area of expertise. And number two, support. Everything supports each other. And when I told him that, he's like, oh my gosh, that's so smart, because you get to scratch the itch of wanting to start content or wanting to start businesses all over the place. You get that fulfillment, but you also are doing it in a wise way where you're choosing things that will support everything else, which makes way more sense. Because the idea is if something takes off, then it's going to benefit everything else, as opposed to if I've got a tree trimming service and a window washing service. Is like, how do those things? I guess those probably work. If I have a tree trimming service and a bakery, how do those work? Maybe I'm trimming apple trees, and I can make it apple pies. So focus versus diversification. We both had the realization that we had our initial amount of success when we were able to focus exclusively on one thing for long enough that it took off. That's how you become successful in the beginning. You got to focus on one thing for long enough and stay consistent for long enough. And then that one thing will take off, and then it'll open a whole lot of doors because you'll have cash flow coming in. By the way, we closed a $73,000 deal paid in full today. And I am so stoked about it. $73,000. Freaking insane. Not my biggest one, but it is a big deal. So I'm excited about that. But those don't come unless you focus on something for long enough and you build your area of expertise so that way people know that you are the guy. You are the person or gal. You're the person who is the expert of XYZ, and then everybody knows that, and then they start referring business to you. And you take care of them, which is also important as well. So if you are ADD like me, and you're like, how do I make this all work? Think about it like that. If you can't focus on one thing, build your area of expertise, and then build little things that all support that area of expertise. Don't jump out of pocket. Don't go over here. Anytime I go over here, my wife's like, no, not going over there. I was like, hey, we should flip houses. I told her this like 2 months ago because I have a client that flips houses. And she's like, no, we're not doing that. I was like, but you can make a couple $1 million a year off of that if you do it right. She's like, nope, it's not your area of expertise. It's not ever that easy. She's smart. She's a smart one. All right, the next thing that we talked about, power of personal branding and the simplicity of affiliate marketing. Guys, if you want to get started in anything, and I talk, I've created a couple videos. You guys go watch them. Easiest way to start a business. I don't remember what it's called, but they were earlier on. How to make $1 million in the next year, I think is one of them, something like that. And what I talk about is learning how to sell. If you can learn how to sell high tickets, you can make $1 million in the next year. If you can learn how to sell really, really well, and you do it with confidence. Again, I don't want to like break down how to sell again. I've already done that plenty of times. But if you can learn how to sell really, really well, you can make $1 million in the next 12 months. The cool thing about affiliate marketing is that you don't have to sell your own products, and you don't have a boss, and you don't have KPIs, and you don't have to, everything is managed by you. You can sell other people's products. That is affiliate marketing. Of all of the business concepts that have taken wind in the last century, affiliate marketing is probably the most beneficial for people to escape their rat race, break through their glass ceiling, and really take control of their financial future. I believe in it that much. If you can just sell other people's stuff, there's lists of websites that you can just find other people's stuff. And if you're like, man, I really like solar panels or solar batteries or solar generators, or I really like mopeds, become the seller of that. But here's the thing. You got to build a personal brand. You have to be able to, you have to be able to build your brand on social media. If there's anything other than affiliate marketing that has been the most beneficial for business owners, for people to get out of their rat race and break through that glass ceiling, the next thing is social media. Probably actually that's the first thing over affiliate marketing, because without social media, affiliate marketing wouldn't be near as powerful as it is. So I would say personal brand is the most impactful thing for people in the last century. Personal brand, social media, game changer for everyone. It is even the playing field for even people in third world countries who need all the help that they can get. They can build personal brands. They can sell stuff. They can grow a following, an audience. Personal brands. One of the things we specifically talked about was that personal brand is a differentiating factor when you are in a sea of other people who are doing the same stuff as you. If you guys, and I've seen some of your channels, some of you guys who are commenting, I've seen some of your channels, and a lot of you are kind of like spacing your content out and, not posting frequently, not staying consistent in your posting. Get back on it, guys. Get on it and just start grinding out content. That's what gives you your competitive edge. And you might be thinking like, hey, Scott, yeah, but I am a man or woman who is just one of 1,000 real estate agents on YouTube. But you are a fingerprint. You're an enigma. You are unique in and of yourself. There is nobody who speaks exactly like me. There's no one who speaks exactly like you. There's no one who thinks that poop and fart jokes are as funny as I do. Well, there's probably a lot, but again, like there's nobody. Point is my personality quirks come out in these videos, and that's what makes me unique. So even if my best friend or my twin was doing the exact same stuff on his own channel, he's relating information through the lens by which he lives life. And if that resonates more with you guys than my content does with you guys, I don't have a twin, by the way, so don't get confused. If his perspective resonates even slightly more, even though we look exactly the same, you guys are going to go with him and not with me, and vice versa. He's going to have some people who resonate more with me than with them. That's what gives you your unique competitive edge, the personal brand. Got to have that uniqueness. You got to have that personal, you have to be creating content. The way I'm creating content right now is so that way I can survive the AI content wave that is going to hit us like Mike Tyson punched you in the face when he was 20 years old, right? We are going to get hit with such a wave of artificial intelligence curated content, and people are going to be like, it's all going to be fake and it's all going to feel fake. This is the stuff that feels real. Right now, this is the time when you should be creating content like this. It's easy and it's real. It's human. It's authentic. Create your personal brand. Create your personal brand. Because as you're building that, your audience, you will build a contingent of true fans. And I say this like, I want to say this like with respect to this as well, because I don't say fans as like fan guys, fan bros, fan boys, whatever. I say fans as in like people who you connect with, people who connect with you. I don't care about the clout at all. I don't care about the clout. I want a contingent. I want an army of people who I connect with. When I say something, it connects with them. When they leave a comment, it connects with me. When you guys leave a comment, it connects with me. All you guys who are commenting, I'm connecting with you. Like I told a guy today, he's like, hey, I wish I could hop on the phone with you for 10 minutes. I was like, dude, let's do it. And he's like, I can't afford it. I was like, I don't care. Like, hit me up, send me an email. Let's go. Let's have a conversation. I can't do that for very long. I did that when I was on my other channel, and I got myself into some trouble after a while because I was like just booking calls left and right with people, and I just didn't have enough time. But again, like we have ways of communicating with each other. Like I communicate here, I can communicate on Twitter, I can communicate on Instagram, Facebook, wherever. Come find me. I'm all over the place. I am Scott Simpson. I'm Scott Simpson without a P in Simpson. Come find me everywhere else. We can have conversations all over the internet. I love it. Personal brand, but build your personal brand. All right, number 5. 4. Build. Is it 5 or 4? I don't know. I think it's 4. Build profitable partnerships. Build profitable partnerships. Now, a lot of people think that 5:30. Okay, I got to go pick up my kids in a minute. And this one's getting lengthy. A lot of people think that because you are so into something and so is someone else that you guys would make good partners. I've been in enough partnerships that have failed to know that you have to complement each other's strengths and weaknesses. You have to be complementary. Where they are weak, you are strong. Where they are strong, you are weak. Yin and yang. If it's two yangs doesn't work. It's got to be yin and yang. Build profitable partnerships. Defining one of the things that I have one partnership right now, and the thing that was most important to me was clear communication, defining roles. And I've been in this partnership for 2 years, and it is the best partnership that I've ever had. It's been super, super easy because we know how to communicate with one another. We know how to address problems. We know how to go over tasks, and we know how things are going to get managed. Sometimes things don't get managed. And then we have integrators to help work on those things. But build profitable partnerships because, again, if you think about the mastermind effect, two brains working together, building off of each other are better than one. And a lot of the times for some of you startup guys, it's not easy to, you second guess yourself. It's not easy to always like come up with an idea and be able to execute without veering off because you see something that's going on over here and you're like, oh, maybe I should try that. Maybe I should try that. Having a partner helps build accountability. And as long as it's a yin and yang type situation, then you guys can both build off of each other and you can become twice as successful. 50% of $100 million is better than 100% of $1 million, right? Man, if only we could all make 100 mil, right? All right. The next point was bringing in the right team. What he said he does is he finds people who are these like hungry operators, these guys who are self-sufficient, who have gone to school, they're educated, they want to come in and they just want to grind and they're willing to work hard. Think about like Wall Street, and this is his background, is on Wall Street. You think Wall Street, when you get out of a school like Wharton and you go to Wall Street and you become a stockbroker, you are grinding for like 90 hours a week. It's insane. And you do that for a couple years until you're trusted with big enough accounts or until you build up a portfolio or a portfolio of clients and you start really making some money. Those are the people that he's looking for. He looks for the grinders, the people who are going to live, he said, live, eat, poop, sleep, the business. I was like, how do you do that to the business? Sorry guys, I've said poop twice. That's gross. I'll keep that out of the business, out of these videos moving forward. No more duty jokes. But that's who he's looking for. And I was like, oh man, that's not who I look for always. My executive assistant, my director of operations, she is that way. She's incredible. She, like last night, she stayed up till like 1 a.m. reviewing content to make sure it was good. I was like, you did that? That's awesome. Good for you. That's the grit that I have. I want more people like that. The problem is you got to pay for it. Or you have to have such an incredible vision that they're willing to do it because they believe in the vision. So it's funny. People are motivated for different things. Some people are motivated for money. Some people are motivated for opportunity. Some people are motivated because they're just hard workers. Like if you ever work with like a wrestler, they're just like, they grind things out. They're just gritty. Or a fighter, they're gritty. They just do the hard stuff because they love it. Gluttons for punishment. But you got to find those team members, and those team members aren't always easy to find. So you have to develop a formula. That's something that I don't know how to do yet, but it's something that I definitely want to look into. Finding people who are grinders. All right, and then, and then he just talked about calls to actions and really dialing in calls to actions when you're ready. Or having your calls to actions be so simple, so easy, so curiosity evoking that people have no choice but to click. They have no choice but to submit a form. They have no choice but to book a call with you because your offer is so compelling, because the thing that you're selling is so compelling. So he spends so much time focusing on calls to actions in his content, in his ecosystem, in his businesses, that it's like if one letter is off, or the font is off, or the period is in the wrong place, or there's a hyphen instead of a comma or a ellipses, like those are the things that they study, that they micro adjust in order to have teeny tiny percentage point increases. Because when you're dealing with volume, a 0.01% increase in click-through rates or in sales could equal millions of dollars after months or years, right? So those are the things that you really get dialed in. Anyway, fascinating conversation. I hope that this was beneficial for you guys. I certainly learned a ton from it. And again, appreciate you. We'll catch you on the next one. Later.